Hello guys, welcome back to the React.js course. So I'm going to continue where we left off last time. So last time we talked about routing in React.js. Whenever I press on any of these links, I can see that I'm rendering another component on the screen. And we can see also that these paths are changing. If you want, the link is changing whenever I press on any of these links. Okay, and the nav bar persists on the screen whenever I jump from a component to another. Okay, because we said that this nav bar is actually situated outside of these routes, this big routes, and this route actually it's not something that is visible on the screen. Okay, and if you want, I can add in another h1, for example, hello world. Excuse me. If I save that and go back, we can see this hello world, and whenever I click on any of these links, I can see that the hello world also persists on the screen. Okay, so let me remove this hello world. Okay, I want to add in something that I did not mention last time. We can use something called the exact path. Okay, so if I have the exact path of only slash, and if I render my application again, okay, if you want, I type an npm start and I start my application, I want the home component, or if you want the home page to render, and it's actually very normal to do. So if you want a component, if you want that, or a page that renders automatically whenever your app starts, you use this exact path if you want trick. And automatically the component that you have in here will render whenever your app starts, and the about and shop will stay as they are. Okay, so today we are going to add in CSS styling into our React app, so it's more visible and more beautiful to see. Okay, so first of all, let me copy paste this nav bar because we are going to use it later. Okay, and first of all, we need to go to the components folder, okay, and add in a new folder called top bar. And it's a better way to do actually, so to have more organized, if you want, folders and files into this components folder. Okay, so instead of like only just adding, if you want, JavaScript and CSS files into this big component, for each of the components it's better to have its own folder that has inside of it its JavaScript file and its corresponding CSS file. So let me first add in the corresponding component topbar.js and topbar.css. Okay, so inside of if you want, each component has its own folder that has inside of it the component itself and the CSS file. And if you want, you can add in other folders if there has like images or assets. That's up to you. Okay, so first let me go to the topbar.js RFC, the trick. Okay, and inside of this top bar, I want to add in the nav bar, and to not get any errors, we need to import link from React router DOM. Okay. Okay, so actually, if you do recall from CSS basics, each tag can have either a class or an ID in normal CSS and HTML. But in React.js, there is no ID, there's only class name. Okay, so if you add any class name to any of the tags, that means that it's its own class or its own ID. And many tags can have the same class name, so that's the same thing as the basics HTML and CSS. So if I add in, let's say for example, class name main top, because it is the main actually div, and we need to add in one more thing, which is we need to link actually this top bar.css file to this JavaScript file by adding import top bar.css. Okay, so actually dot and slash means that we are still in the same folder, import top bar.css. Okay, and that is it. We can start coding into our top bar.css. So let's say first of all we need to of course render our top bar component in our app.js. So if you go back to our okay, we can see that we have this nav bar, which is the top bar. Actually, it's not actually written in our app.js. Okay, so if you go about top bar.css, and let me start in by main top dot, because if you do remember, classes are uses dot, and with HTML CSS IDs are hashtag, but we are not going to use that in React.js. So main top, let me add a border of, let's say for example, 2 pixels solid black. And let me save that and go back to our React app. You can see that our nav bar, or this div, okay, has a border. Okay, So we started styling our React app. Okay, if you go back to top border.css, let me not add border, let me add in a background color of, let's say, for example, that's good. Okay, and actually if I want to actually style these links, okay, I need to also add class names to each of these links, and they have the same class name actually because they have the same style. So let me name these class name links, for example. Okay, let me save that and go back to the top bar CSS dot, because it is class name, so don't forget that, and dot links. And let me first, if you want to actually remove this underlined, it comes like by default with the links that they are underlined, but if you want to remove it, you can by adding text decoration none. Okay, if I save that go, we can see that it is gone. Okay, we can actually increase the font size to, let's say, for example, 40 pixels, and let me change its color to, I don't know, blue, I don't know, anything. And if we go back, you can see that we have home, about, shop. We need one more thing, which is like actually separate them from each other a bit so we can use margin. So let me give them a margin of 10 pixels for left, right, top, and bottom, and we can see that home, about, shop are now separated from each other. And that's actually how you style and you add in style to your CSS, excuse me, to the React app. And you can also use Google Font actually. So Google Font introduces many fonts that you can use. So how you can use that is actually you can let's choose this font actually, Square Peg. I don't know why I chose this. Okay, if you want to choose this regular 400, you just add it by clicking on this plus, and then you go view selected families, and you can see that you have the square peg right here, and you click on import and you just copy paste this import without the style tag. Okay, and you just copy paste it on top of your CSS file. Okay, I save that, and you can now use it, font family, and let me copy paste the font family, square peg. Okay, I save that and go back. We can see that now our font family has changed. So you can add in whatever font family you want from the Google Fonts. Okay, so that was a video introducing CSS into our React app, and we are going to use CSS in the rest of our videos. So make sure that you understand what we did today. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask your questions in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer them. And I would like to tell you thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.